In last lecture we have studying the different diseases. In last lecture we have seen the list of 10 to 11 diseases, causal organism of those diseases and group of those causal organism, and from that list first disease we have completed in the last lecture, that is malaria. Malaria is vector borne disease which is caused by a protozoan microorganism, that is Plasmodium species. There are 4 types of Plasmodium species we have seen, and this malaria is having 2 hosts for their completion of life cycle. This malarial parasite is showing 2 hosts, that is human being and second is the female Anopheles mosquito. Okay, so we have seen the control measures, symptoms, effects and mode of transmission about the malaria disease. Now in today's lecture we have to see the second disease, that is amoebiasis. This is the second disease called as amoebiasis. Amoebiasis, the causative agent, it is the same group, protozoan endoparasite, and that is Entamoeba histolytica. The microorganism causing the disease amoebiasis is Entamoeba histolytica, and it is protozoan endoparasite. It causes infection to human being and the infection site is the large intestine. So here infection in large intestine of human is caused by this Entamoeba histolytica, and therefore this infection is called as a gastrointestinal infection because it is infecting our digestive tract, and therefore it is called as gastrointestinal tract infection, which is commonly called as amoebic dysentery. Common dysentery you know, but due to Entamoeba histolytica infection, the dysentery which is observed, and that dysentery is called as amoebic dysentery. It is very serious one type of disorder. So here what is the mode of transmission of this amoebiasis? So first of all we have to see here how this disease is transmitted. So here this disease is transmitted by contaminating food and water, by the contamination of food and water, that is it is called as a transmission by fecal-oral route. Means suppose one person is having the infection of Entamoeba histolytica, the pathogenic particles of this Entamoeba histolytica are coming from that person through the fecal matter. That fecal matter of that infected person consisting of the infectious particles of this Entamoeba histolytica, and if that fecal matter is going to be contaminated with food or water, and then that food and water is taken by another person, then there is transmission of Entamoeba histolytica in that new person. So here by using contaminated food and water, or by using here the fecal-oral route, contaminated food and drinking water, the infection of Entamoeba histolytica is observed. So this is the first mode of transmission, that is fecal-oral route, means contamination by food and drinking water. This is the first mode of transmission. Then second, it can be transmitted indirectly through contact with dirty hands or dirty objects. Dirty hand or dirty objects can also transfer this disease, and therefore this is mode of transmission. Now houseflies. Houseflies are also acting as a mechanical carriers, and they are transmitting the parasite from fecus of infected person to food and food products. When there is open fecus present on the ground and houseflies are feeding on that fecal matter, and if that fecal matter is consisting of the infectious particles of the Entamoeba histolytica, then those Entamoeba histolytica particles or the microorganism of this Entamoeba histolytica are getting transferred from in that fecus to the different food or food products by these houseflies. So here houseflies are here known as mechanical carriers because they are feeding on the fecal matter, and if that fecal matter is of infected person, then these houseflies are also transmitting the disease through food and food products. So here this infection is spread through the ingestion of cyst from the parasite. So how the infection is spread, that infectious stage of this entamoeba histolytica is called as the cyst. Cyst is a structure formed by the microorganism which is a dormant stage of that microorganism and which is produced in to avoid the unfavorable condition. So it is a dormant condition of the microorganism and that is called as a cyst, and when the infected person showing cyst in their stool, म्हणजे जो फिकल मॅटर त्या व्यक्तीच्या बॉडीमधून बाहेर टाकला जातो त्याच्यामध्ये ह्या एंटामिबा हिस्टोलायटिकाचे काय असतात, सिस्ट असतात. अँड इफ दॅट सिस्ट इज गेटिंग इंजेस्टेड बाय अनदर पर्सन, द इन्फेक्शन ऑफ एंटामिबा हिस्टोलायटिका कॅन बी टेकिंग प्लेस इन देअर बॉडी अँड देअरफॉर हिअर वी कॅन से इन्फेक्शन इज स्प्रेड थ्रू इंजेक्शन ऑफ सिस्ट फ्रॉम दी पॅरासाइट. म्हणजे हे सिस्ट फिकल मॅटरमधून शरीराच्या बाहेर टाकले जातात आणि तेच सिस्ट किंवा तो फिकल मॅटर कॉन्टॅमिनेटेड फूड असेल किंवा वॉटर असेल ते एखाद्या व्यक्तीनं इंजेस्ट केलं तर त्या इंजेक्शन ऑफ फूडमधून किंवा इंजेक्शन ऑफ वॉटरमधून काय होणार आहे, याची सिस्ट जाणार आहे आणि मग ह्या सिस्टमुळे काय होणार आहे, त्या व्यक्तीला एंटामिबा हिस्टोलायटिकाचं इन्फेक्शन झालेलं बघायला मिळेल. सो मोस्ट ट्रान्समिशन वे that is injection of cyst from the parasite. In some cases non-encysted amoebae or the other stage of this entamoeba histolytica, that is called as a trophozoites, may also spread the infection. Means sometimes there is no cyst present in the fecal matter, but the non-encysted amoebae, that stage is called as, or another name, that is trophozoites, and when these trophozoites and non-encysted amoebae are ingested by a person, that will also causing the same disease, amoebiasis. So here mode of transmission by feco-oral route and mechanical carriers acting as a housefly and through dirty hand and dirty objects. It is the mode of transmission and infectious stage, cyst of the entamoeba histolytica or non-encysted amoebae, and we can call it as a trophozoite stage of the infection. Okay, so this is the life cycle of entamoeba histolytica. Here you can see this is the cyst. This structure is called as the cyst of the entamoeba and this cyst is here developed in condition. This is the development and here this amoeba is formed and this division is taking place and you can say here this is the different stages of development of this entamoeba histolytica. This is the trophozoite condition. So here only the life cycle of entamoeba histolytica is given, which is taking place inside the human body and some are taking place in the soil where the fecal matter is thrown outside the infected person. So here we can see this is the cyst. This is binucleate cyst. Here you can see these are two nuclei. Then quadrinucleate cyst. Here are four nuclei formed. It means division is taking place, and this cyst forms metacystic amoebae, which here division is taking place, and through division number of amoeba molecules, entamoeba molecules are formed, and there is formation of trophozoite condition. This condition you have observing here. So this is very short life cycle. It is not important for the examination point of view. Now the symptoms of this entamoeba histolytica, the basic common symptom here, it shows mild diarrhea, means you can see लूज मोशनचा त्रास त्या व्यक्तीला होतो. नॉर्मल अपचन झाल्यामुळे सुद्धा काही वेळेला लूज मोशनचा त्रास होतो, तो वेगळा आहे. आणि इथे जर आपण बघितलं तर डायोरिया, लूज मोशन, टू डिसेंट्री विथ ब्लड अँड म्युकस इन द स्टूल विथ ॲबडॉमिनल पेन, म्हणजे पोटामध्ये दुखण्याची वेदना व्हायला सुरुवात होतात आणि जे स्टूल बाहेर पडणार आहे, स्टूल म्हणजे इथं फिकल मॅटर म्हणलेलं आहे, बट दॅट फिकल मॅटर इज लिक्विड इन कंडिशन अँड देअरफॉर इट इज कॉल्ड ॲज अ स्टूल. when the fecal matter is solid, then it is called as a fecal or ficus. But when it is in the liquid form, because in diarrhea condition or in dysentery condition, the fecal matter which is throwing outside our body, it is in liquid condition, and that liquid condition fecal matter is called as a stool, and when this disease is appearing in that infected person, then that stool is showing here blood and mucus in the fecal matter, that is in the stools, means here diarrhea, mild diarrhea, that means in starting condition there is loose motion, but after infective stage, after some days, what happens, see here, that person is showing dysentery and that stool is showing blood and mucus, and it is associated with abdominal pain. So it is the most important symptom of this entamoeba histolytica, and severe infection it is known as amoebic dysentery. When that infection of entamoeba histolytica is severely affected to that person's body, that condition is called as amoebic dysentery. In some cases, these entamoeba histolytica particles are infecting to the liver, and therefore hepatomegaly occurs if the parasites enters in the liver. If suppose this parasite entamoeba histolytica is infecting to the liver, then there is size of the liver is getting increased condition, and that is known as hepatomegaly. Hepato means liver, मेगॅली मीन्स मेगा, मेगा म्हणजे मोठं, लिव्हरची साईज मोठी होते, अँड देन लिव्हर सेल्स आर गेटिंग इन्फेक्टेड अँड दिस शोज amoebic liver abscess accompanied with fever and pain in the right abdomen. So when liver infection takes place, then size of liver increases and the hepatic cells which are present in the liver are showing presence of this entamoeba histolytica, and that condition is called as amoebic liver abscess. Means here the pus formation in the liver cells takes place due to the infection of entamoeba histolytica. जे पस तयार होतो ह्याच्या इन्फेक्शनमुळे, अँड देअरफॉर देअर इज समटाइम्स फीवर अँड पेन इन द राईट ॲबडॉमिन. सो हियर in some patient you can observe the liver abscess condition, means liver is showing pus formation, and sometimes it may get converted fever and there is pain in the right abdomen because the liver is present at the right side of the abdominal region, and therefore here this is another symptoms if the infection of liver is taking place by this pathogen. Okay, so these are the symptoms. Now here we can see how the disease can be diagnosed. That is entamoeba histolytica diagnosis is done by microscopic examination of the stool sample. If the person is showing dysentery or diarrhea and that is not cured by our general medicines, then the stool is collected from that person and that stool is to be examined under the microscope. म्हणजे त्या व्यक्तीचं जे स्टूल आहे, जो फिकल मॅटर आहे, तो तपासण्यासाठी घेतला जातो आणि त्याचं मायक्रोस्कोपिक एक्झामिनेशन केल्यानंतर त्याच्यामध्ये आपल्याला सिस्ट बघायला मिळाले तर आपण सांगू शकतो की ह्याला एंटामिबाचं इन्फेक्शन झालेलं आहे. सो दिस इज द डायग्नोस्टिक टेस्ट. नाउ फॉर द ट्रीटमेंट ऑफ दिस अमिबियासिस डिफरंट मेडिसिन्स आर युज्ड. सो हियर मेट्रिनिडाझोल अँड ट्रिनिडाझोल, these are the two medicines which are used for the treatment of amoebiasis. You have to remember these two names here, metronidazole and tinidazole. So these are the two medicines which are used for treatment of this amoebiasis. Now how to prevent this amoebiasis? So there are different methods for the prevention of this amoebiasis. Here we can see, firstly we have to adopt hygienic practices. म्हणजे स्वच्छतेच्या सवयी आपण बाळगल्या पाहिजेत तरच आपण याच्यावरती काय करू शकतो, प्रिव्हेन्शन करू शकतो, कंट्रोल करू शकतो. सो विच आर दिस हायजेनिक प्रॅक्टिसेस हियर? फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, प्रॉपर वॉशिंग ऑफ हँड्स आफ्टर युजिंग टॉयलेट्स. आफ्टर विजिटिंग टॉयलेट्स वी हॅव टू वॉश अवर हँड्स विथ व्हेरी प्रॉपरली अँड चेंजिंग बेबीज डायपर अँड हँडलिंग फूड. वेन सम स्मॉल infants are there in our home, then the changing of diaper of the baby taking place. After that we have to wash our hands, and before handling the food, when you have handling the food, before handling food we have to wash properly our hands. That is the first precaution or the prevention we can take. Next, regular cleaning of bathrooms and toilets. That is the most important control measure for this amoebiasis: regular and thorough cleaning of bathrooms and toilets here. Next, avoid eating raw vegetable growth using domestic sewage. सांडपाणी जे असतं आपल्या घरातून बाहेर पडणारं, बऱ्याचदा त्या सांडपाण्यावरती भाजीपाला उगवला जातो, पण तसा भाजीपाला आपण खाण्यासाठी वापरायचा नाही, कारण त्याच्यामध्ये सुद्धा एंटामिबाचं इन्फेक्शन होऊ शकतं. अँड देअरफॉर वी हॅव टू अवॉइड द ग्रोथ ऑफ व्हेजिटेबल ऑन दी डोमेस्टिक सिवेज वॉटर, अँड देअरफॉर वी कॅन प्रिव्हेंट दिस डिसीज. प्रॉपर डिस्पोजल ऑफ सिवेज वॉटर. इफ द सिवेज वॉटर इज डायरेक्टली combined with our natural water body, all water may get contaminated. So before combining or before mixing the sewage water directly into the water body, natural water body, we have to do some treatment on that sewage water, and then that treated water is mixed with the natural body. म्हणजे जे सांडपाणी आहे त्याच्यावरती काहीतरी आपण प्रक्रिया करून त्याच्यातले जे दूषित घटक आहेत ते बाजूला करून ते पाणी आपण आपल्या नॅचरल बॉडीमध्ये म्हणजेच नदीमध्ये वगैरे आपण ते ॲड केलं पाहिजे. त्यामुळे प्रॉपर डिस्पोजल ऑफ सिवेज वॉटर इज इम्पॉर्टंट टेक्निक टू प्रिव्हेंट दिस डिसीज. देन ड्रिंकिंग वॉटर इज यूज्ड आफ्टर प्रॉपर सेडिमेंटेशन अँड फिल्ट्रेशन. इफ द ड्रिंकिंग वॉटर इज contaminated, then we have to follow two procedures here. First is the sedimentation. That means in rainy season the water coming is very turbid, and then what we do, that water is stored in a tank, and जो काही गाळ असेल त्याच्यामधला तो गाळ सगळा काय होतो, सेडिमेंट होतो, तळाशी जाऊन बसतो आणि मग वरचंच पाणी आपण पिण्यासाठी वापरत असतो. दॅट प्रोसेस इज कॉल्ड ॲज अ सेडिमेंटेशन अँड फिल्ट्रेशन. Proper filters are to be used for the filtration of water, and we have to use here the water which is used for drinking, that should be sedimented or filtered. So these are the different techniques or the different ways how to prevent the disease amoebiasis. We have to very careful that after the using toilet or after visiting the toilets, we have to wash thoroughly our hands to avoid this contamination, and don't use sewage water for the growth of vegetable. So these are the 2 or 3 most important measures to control the amoebiasis. So all these points are regarding the amoebiasis. We have to remember in the examination, that is Entamoeba histolytica is a protozoan microorganism that is causing amoebiasis, and it is causing infection to the gastrointestinal tract or large intestine of the human being. The infectious stage is called as a cyst of Entamoeba histolytica, and non-encysted amoebae or trophozoites are also occurring, also responsible for the disease formation. So here the amoebiasis disease is completed. Now the next disease we have to see here, the ascariasis. दॅट मीन्स पोटामध्ये जंत होणे, लहान मुलांच्यामध्ये पोटामध्ये जंत होतात आपण बघितलेलं आहे. दॅट कंडिशन इज कॉल्ड ॲज अ ॲस्केरियासिस, अँड दिस ॲस्कॅरियासिस इज कॉज्ड बाय अ हेल्मिंथ राऊंड वर्म दॅट इज कॉल्ड ॲज अ ॲस्कॅरिस lumbricoides, which belongs to Aschelminthes, phylum Aschelminthes of the non-chordata. So here positive agent helminth endoparasite, Ascaris lumbricoides, and commonly it is called as a roundworm. This is also infecting intestinal region, and therefore it is called as a intestinal worm. It is also commonly called as a intestinal worm because here infection to intestinal internal wall, the large intestine particularly, both small and large intestine, जो inner wall आहे त्याच्यावरती याचं इन्फेक्शन झालेलं असतं, म्हणून त्याला आपण इंटेस्टिनल वर्म असं सुद्धा कॉमनली म्हणले जाते ॲस्कॅरिस lumbricoidesला. सो हिअर what is the mode of transmission of this disease? That the mode of transmission is the feco-oral route. Means here again same, contaminated food and water shows mode of transmission. Means if the person is having the disease ascariasis, that person's fecal matter is having the eggs of ascaris, and if that fecal matter is contaminated in the food and water, that is the mode of transmission for this disease. So here same fecal-oral route, contaminated water and food by the eggs of Ascaris, that is the mode of transmission, and infection is spread through unclean hand. Same as amoebiasis, it is also transmitted by using the dirty hands or dirty objects. So this is the mode of transmission. Now these are the Ascaris male organism and Ascaris female organism. The difference you have studied in the 11th science. So here the life cycle of Ascaris is showing different stages of development. It is showing only one host, that is human, but the developmental stages of Ascaris is carried out. Some are carried out in the soil and some are carried out in the human body. So here this life cycle is completed in one host, that is man. In the small intestine of the man, male and female Ascaris mates and undergo fertilization and development of zygote takes place. When these worms are present in the human body, in the small intestine region, male Ascaris and female Ascaris are present. They are combining with each other, they are fertilizing each other, and there is a development of zygote takes place, and a female worm is producing about 2 lakh eggs per day, which are passed with the fecal matter. Means suppose male and female worms are present in human body. After formation of male gamete and female gamete, there is fertilization and zygote formation takes place, and that zygote is producing, that means a female is producing per day about 2 lakh eggs, which are passed through the fecal matter of that infected person. म्हणजे त्या व्यक्तीच्या फिकल मॅटरमधून दररोज 2 लाख अंडी जी आहेत त्या ॲस्कॅरिसची बाहेर पडत असतात. अँड देअरफॉर एग्स ऑफ ॲस्कॅरिस आर दी इन्फेक्शियस स्टेज ऑफ दिस ॲस्कॅरिस. सो fertilized eggs show infection. If the eggs are fertilized, then they are showing infection. So these fertilized eggs develop into embryos and become infective after 18 days to several weeks in soil. Means here these embryos or these fertilized eggs are thrown outside the human body through the fecal matter, and then after developmental stages are taking place into the soil, that is about 18 days to several weeks. Means these Ascaris eggs are developing about 18 days to several weeks in soil. मातीमध्ये जवळजवळ 18 दिवसापासून काही आठवड्यांपर्यंत ती ॲस्कॅरिसची अंडी वाढत राहतात. त्याच्यामध्ये काहीतरी डेव्हलपमेंटल स्टेजेस त्या सॉईलमध्ये होत राहतात. आफ्टर दॅट, आफ्टर स्वॅलोईंग ऑफ इन्फेक्टिव्ह एग्स थ्रू कॉन्टॅमिनेशन, द लार्व्ही हॅच अँड इन्व्हेड इंटेस्टिनल म्युकोसा अँड कॅरीड थ्रू सर्क्युलेशन टू लिम्फॅटिक्स अँड द लंग्स. सपोज दीज fertilized eggs are contaminated in food and water, and if that contaminated food and water is taken up by a person, then in that person's body those fertilized eggs are ingested, and after ingestion of fertilized eggs, that eggs are showing hatching. म्हणजे ते अंडी फुटतात आणि त्याच्यामधून त्याची लार्व्ही बाहेर पडतात ॲस्कॅरिसची, and those larvae are circulated throughout the body and they are coming to the lungs while circulation in the body. After coming to the lungs, the further infection is into the lungs takes place, and they are penetrating the alveolar walls of the lungs, and then they are passed into the bronchi, then trachea, and finally into the throat, and are swallowed into the esophagus and reach the small intestine. Means see here what happens. First of all, the fertilized eggs are ingested by a person's body. Then the eggs are hatching and larvae are coming outside the eggs, and these larvae are circulated throughout the body, and while circulation some of the larvae are coming into our lungs, and then from lungs these larvae are penetrating to the alveolar wall, and from alveolar wall they are passed through the bronchi, from bronchi to the trachea, and from trachea to our throat. And when they are coming in our throat, when swallowing action is taken by us, through that swallowing action these larvae are swallowed in our digestive tract. Means here first infection is taking place in the lungs, and from lungs they are coming to our throat region, and from throat region they are going back into our digestive tract, that is the intestinal region. So they reach the small intestine, and then upon reaching the small intestine they develop into adult worms, and worms can live 1 to 2 years. When they are reaching the small intestine region, then they are developing into adult worms, adult female or adult male, and they can remain live up to 1 to 2 years. That is the life cycle of this ascaris. And the first appearance of eggs in stools is after 60 to 70 days of infection. Means if suppose ingested fertilized eggs by a human, then these developmental stages are occurring, and there is formation of the fertilized eggs in the stool, that is in 60 to 70 days, means about 2 to 3 months of this infection is taking place inside our body. म्हणजे एकदा ॲस्कॅरिसची अंडी आपल्या बॉडीमध्ये आल्यानंतर काय काय घडतं ते अगोदर आपल्या लंगला इन्फेक्शन करतात, लंगमधून ते अल्व्हेओलार वॉलकडे जातात, अल्व्हेओलार वॉलकडून ब्रॉन्कायकडे जातात, ब्रॉन्कायकडून ट्रॅकियामध्ये येतात, ट्रॅकियामधून आपल्या थ्रोटमध्ये येतात, घशामध्ये येतात, आणि श्वसननलिका आणि अन्ननलिका ही अशी असते. श्वसननलिकेमधून येतात, आणि ज्यावेळेला आपण गिळतो त्यावेळेला श्वसननलिकेमधून येऊन ते अन्ननलिकेमधून काय होतात आपल्या स्मॉल इंटेस्टाईनपर्यंत जातात, आणि तिथं त्यांची फर्दर डेव्हलपमेंट आपल्याला झालेली बघायला मिळते. सो दिस इज ऑल अबाउट दी लाईफ सायकल ऑफ ॲस्कॅरिस. दिस कॅन बी रिटन इन दी diagrammatic representation. Here we can see this is the stage of the worm in the intestine, that is fourth molt occurs in the intestine. Growing adult, this adult are male and female, shows mating, that is copulation, and after copulation there is fertilization, and fertilized eggs are laid in the intestine, and if these fertilized eggs are thrown outside the body by the fecal matter, then formation of infective second stage larva swallowed by man reach in the intestine and passes into the liver, heart, lungs through circulation. In lungs, molting occurs, passes into the esophagus through bronchi and swallowed in the intestine. So this cycle is repeated many times, and therefore there is severe infection of this ascaris. You can see here also, these are the contaminated food having the infectious fertilized eggs of this ascaris swallowed by man. They are reaching intestine, then they are reaching blood from heart, then lungs, trachea, pharynx. So these are the larval condition. Very small larvae are present. These are transferred from intestine to blood, then to heart, then lungs, then trachea, and then pharynx, and then esophagus, and from esophagus they are entering into the intestine, where adult worms are formed. That is, molting occurs in the larval condition, and different worms are formed, male and female, and they are growing into adult, and again they are showing copulation, mating, and their fertilization. So fertilized eggs in fecus, and these fertilized eggs are again passed through fecal matter into the soil, and the food or water may gets contaminated, and this cycle is again repeated. So here only one host, that is male, a human being, is carrying this life cycle of this ascaris. So I hope you understand the life cycle of this ascaris. Now the next point here is the symptoms. So this is causing infection to our intestinal region, and therefore symptoms are present also in the intestinal region. So gastrointestinal discomfort accompanied with vomiting and fever. गॅस्ट्रोइंटेस्टिनल डिस्कम्फर्ट म्हणजे जो पोटाचा भाग आहे त्या ठिकाणी आपल्याला डिस्कम्फर्ट जाणवतं, असं अस्वस्थ असल्यासारखं जाणवतं, पोटामध्ये वेगळंच काहीतरी आपल्याला जाणवतं, आणि त्याच्यामध्ये आपल्याला काही वेळेला वॉमिटिंग, उलटी होण्याची शक्यता असते, काही वेळेला ताप येण्याची शक्यता असते. हे सिम्पटम्स आहेत. प्रेझेन्स ऑफ लाईव्ह वर्म्स इन फिकल मॅटर. काही वेळेला आपल्याला फिकल मॅटरमधून लाईव्ह वर्म्स बाहेर आलेले बघायला मिळतील. दॅट इज द सिम्पटम ऑफ दिस ॲस्कॅरियासिस. Next symptom here we can see, in some patient pulmonary disorder occur, and that is called as a pneumonitis, that is inflammation of the alveolar wall. because the first infection here taking place in our lungs and therefore the alveolar wall may get inflamed. म्हणजे जी alveolar wall आहे तिथं सूज आलेली आपल्याला बघायला मिळते and due to the inflammation the pneumonia like disorder is formed in that patient, that is called as a pneumonitis. This is also one symptom of this ascariasis. Then loss of appetite and weight loss, म्हणजे भूक मंदावते. लॉस ऑफ ॲपेटाईट हे शब्दाचा अर्थ काय आहे? भूक मंदावणे, भूक कमी होणे. तर ही कंडिशन आपल्याला त्या व्यक्तींच्यामध्ये बघायला मिळू शकते. लॉस ऑफ ॲपेटाईट अँड वेट लॉस, त्यामुळं भूक न लागल्यामुळं खाल्लं जात नाही, त्यामुळे वजन ॲटोमॅटिक आपल्याला कमी झालेलं बघायला मिळतं. अँड देन इन सम पेशंट्स इओसिनोफिलिया, देर इज इन्क्रीज इन नंबर ऑफ इओसिनोफिल्स मीन्स ॲसिडोफिल्स विच आर प्रेझेंट in our blood, that is white blood corpuscle eosinophilia, a type of granulocyte of the WBC type. So in some patient this eosinophils number is also increasing. So these are the number of symptoms, but the most important symptom is the gastrointestinal discomfort accompanied with fever and vomiting, and live worms can be observed in the fecal matter. So these are the different symptoms that we have seen in the ascariasis. Now how to diagnose the disease ascariasis? So here we can examine the stool, same as amoebiasis. Here the stool of the patient, that is the fecal matter of the patient, is microscopically examined for the presence of this larvae of this ascariasis. So microscopic examination of this stool is taken for the diagnostic test, and then what is the treatment? This ascariasis can be treated with a number of medicines. The name of these medicines are called as a anti-helminthic drug, that means piperazine, mebendazole, levacimol, parental are effective against this Ascaris rumbicoides. Means these are different drugs here which are used for this treatment. These are the some names of this treatment. And how to prevent this disease? Here use of toilet facilities, same as amoebiasis. Here we have to clean our toilets and we have to use the toilet facilities, safe excreta disposal and protection of food from the dust and soil. This is the most important prevention, and thorough washing of produce and hand washing before cooking and handling the food. कोणतीही गोष्ट हाताळताना स्वच्छ हाताने हाताळायची आणि कोणत्याही प्रकारची घाण धूळ आपल्या अन्नावरती बसणार नाही ह्याची काळजी घ्यायची. म्हणजे उघड्यावरचं अन्न खाऊ नये ते त्यासाठीच म्हणलं जातं. डिसीजेस जसे amoebiasis आहेत, ascariasis आहेत, हे आपल्याला ओपन फूड जे आहे त्याच्यामधून इन्फेक्शन स्प्रेड झालेलं बघायला मिळते. सो इन टुडेज लेक्चर वी हॅव कम्प्लिटेड amoebiasis and ascariasis disease. In the next lecture we have studied next disease. Thank you.